Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double line to the apostles of GMS. My name is Amna Allah, coming at you with another lesson. I want to continue this lesson on Proverbs, the 6th chapter, continuing this series. And I want to get right to the point. This is because I was going into the 6th thing that the Lord hates, 7th abomination unto him. I just did this show a couple minutes ago, and for some reason it didn't save. I have no idea why, so now I got to do it again. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. And if you pay attention to the previous shows and look at all of these things, these are all things that all occurred into the beginning that brought sin into the world. A proud look. The scriptures tell you that pride is the beginning of sin. A lying tongue. The serpent, a lying tongue. Cain lied to the father. He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And the serpent lied to Eve. And hands that shed innocent blood. That's what Cain did to Abel. And that's also that's what Cain did to Abel. It says a heart that devises wicked imaginations. That's what happened when the serpent beguiled Eve. Feet that be swift to run into mischief. Eve's feet was swift to run into mischief. A false witness to speak of lies, and him that soweth discord among brethren. So let's deal with this one right here. A false witness to speak of lies. Alright? Proverbs chapter 14 verse 15. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. Faithful means to be loyal or to be staunch, okay? So a faithful witness is a loyal witness, a truthful witness. Like if you say a person isn't faithful, you're saying that person isn't truthful, that person isn't loyal. So a faithful witness or a loyal witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. And as we know, just in the Proverbs 16 and 19, the false witness to speak lies is one of the things that the Lord hates. Exodus 23 and 1. Exodus 23 and 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report, meaning thou shalt not make a false accusation. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. So don't put forth your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. When you put forth your hand with someone, that symbolizes that you have a bond or you have an agreement. So when you put forth your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness, you're choosing to be an unrighteous witness because someone else is. You're joining hands with another unrighteous witness. 2 people come into an agreement to make an unrighteous judgment. They put forth their hands with one another. Figuratively speaking, meaning they both agreed. Okay? Exodus 23 and 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline at the many to rest judgment. Right, so you're not supposed to follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline at the many to rest judgment. A cause to decline what? Speaking the clause, neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline, meaning what? Speaking the cause to decline a righteous judgment, because you're following that multitude to do evil. But you're not supposed to do that. A person is following a multitude to do evil, which is not supposed to do. Nor shall you speak in the cause to decline at the many to rest judgment. Meaning, neither shall you speak in the cause to decline at the many. Meaning, you're following many people. You're following other people's judgment. And following other people's judgment are causing you to decline. Meaning that's causing you to decline and making the righteous judgment because you're following everyone else. I'll prove that to you real quick. The word here, rest, in the Hebrew is natah. I'm going right to the point. It says to turn aside, incline, decline, bend down, pervert, to turn, incline, influence, bend down, hold out, extend, thrust aside, thrust away. So it means to thrust away, or to thrust aside, or to pervert. So let's read that verse again. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Don't follow the multitude when it comes to doing evil. Don't follow behind them. Don't follow their ways. Neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline, meaning neither shalt thou speak in the cause to decline after many to rest judgment. This multitude is that's the many that it's talking about here. So you're not supposed to speak in the cause to decline after many to rest judgment. Meaning when it comes to making a judgment, don't speak in the cause to rest that judgment. Meaning don't speak in the cause to thrust away that judgment. Meaning don't follow the many people when it comes to bringing about a judgment. Because the masses may have a particular agreement upon something that's unrighteous. They may say, well, this person committed a crime. And since everyone else is saying it, you're doing the same thing too. That's following a multitude to do evil. That's speaking in the cause to decline a righteous judgment. You're resting the judgment. You're thrusting the judgment aside because you're following the masses. Okay? You're making a false report. You're putting forth your hands with wicked to be an unrighteous witness, which is what the Lord hates. Exodus 20:16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So explanatory. Don't not supposed to lie. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which I'm not going to break this down. I'm just going to get right to it. The serpent is talking about the so-called white man. Subtle serpent has a two-pronged tongue, a forked tongue. Says one thing, mean another, in a figurative aspect. So a person is a snake, they say one thing but mean another. Say one thing in front of you, say something else behind your back. The serpent was more subtle, and it was the white man is good at that. Very subtle, because subtle means skillful. Subtle means under the web, but to be subtle also means to be cunning, which means to be skillfully deceitful. Then any beast of the field, meaning when you go to the book of Psalms 32:9, King David said, "Be not as the horse or the mule, which have no understanding." So if someone has no understanding, they're like a horse or a mule. And pursuing in the book of I believe it's Ecclesiastes 3:18, it says speak about the son of man being beast. So men can be considered the beast if they don't have understanding. And the field represents the world, as you read Matthew 13th chapter. So now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now the serpent, so-called white man, was more cunning than any nation on the world, which the Lord had made, which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? This is the serpent speaking unto Eve. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, right? The actual trees that grew actual fruit. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. Excuse me, Slakia. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, right? The tree that was in the midst of the garden, meaning those nations that were in the midst of Adam and Eve. Because that word tree is talking about men. When you go to the book of Mark 8:24, the man said, I've seen men as trees walking after he was healed of his blindness. So men are likened unto trees. And that fruit that was in a tree in the midst of the garden was the philosophies, was that knowledge of those other nations. And the Most High said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. I mean, we were supposed to go into their wicked philosophies. Neither shall you eat of it, meaning you're not supposed to ingest their knowledge. Like food for thought, so to speak. It wasn't actual food, it was food for thought, it was knowledge. Neither shall you eat, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die. That's the point. He was a false witness. He was actually telling the truth right there. Because when you go to Genesis 2nd chapter, the Lord had told Adam that very same thing, which means Adam had to tell Eve. This is Genesis 2:16. And the Lord power commended the man, saying, the man from Adam, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest of it, thou shalt surely die. So that's the Most High told Adam. But Satan told Eve here, and that tree of knowledge of good and evil, that was the tree that was in the midst of the garden. But the serpent tells Eve, You're not going to die. So that was a false witness right there. Now I want to end it off with this. This is the book of this is the history of Susanna. I want to read this whole thing, so I'm kind of trying to breeze through it. There dwelt a man in Babylon named Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Now Joachim was a rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house. So she was a very fair woman. She was a beautiful woman, right? And she had a rich husband, and had a fair garden joining unto his house. And to him was daughter of the Jews, because he was more honorable than the others. So he was a very honorable man. He was a righteous man, and the Jews resorted unto him. The same year were appointed two of the ancients, meaning elders of Israel. All right. At that time, the same were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges, and as the Lord spake, such as the Lord spake of, so that wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. So anybody had a suit in the law, any case, anything, situation dealing with the law, they came unto these men. And they kept much at Joachim's house. They was around his house often. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk, and the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed towards her. So they saw this woman walking, and their lust was inflamed towards her. And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven and nor remember just judgments. So her beauty perverted their own mind. In other words, these men wasn't thinking about the righteousness of the Most High, and turned away their eyes that they might not look unto heaven, look unto heaven, no remember just judgments. In other words, they wasn't even worrying about the. They turned away their eyes from looking into heaven. They turned away their eyes with their minds to looking up to the Most High for guidance and remembering the word of the Lord, and how it says not to commit adultery, for example, as you'll find out when we read on. And albeit they both were wounded with their love, yet durst not show any another his grief. So they were wounded with her love, meaning they had a very strong desire unto her, and they durst not or did not show another his grief. They did not tell the other how much of a desire the other had towards her, because they knew that it was wicked. For they were ashamed to declare to Lassie that they desired to have to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were going out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they had asked one another the cause. So they left. One said, okay, it's dinner time, and they was going to go home. But then when they separated, they came back into the same place. And after they had asked one another the cause, they said, why are you back here for? They acknowledged their lust. They acknowledged lust that they had towards her. Then appointed they at time both together when they might find her alone. And it fell out as they watched a fit time, she went in as before, so they was waiting to find her alone. When they found a good time, she went in as before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. And there was nobody there to dare say the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her. Then she said to her maid, bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors, that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hid. So they didn't see the elders. They left. She sent her maids away to bring her washing balls or oil and washing balls, and she would wash. But they didn't see the elders, because the elders were hid. Now when the maids were going forth, 2 elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us and lie with us. Meaning the garden doors are shut. All right, nobody can see us. We in love with you. Now lay with us, have sex with us. That's what they were saying. If thou were not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee. So they said, if you don't have sex with us, we're going to lie, and we're going to say that you had a young man with you. That's why you sent your maids away, so you wouldn't get caught. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me. So if she has sex with them, it is death unto her, because it's adultery. And adultery, remember, she was raised in the law. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. Meaning, if I don't have sex with you, I can't escape y'all, because they would have raped her. They were stronger than her. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord. She was saying it's better for her to be raped than for her to willingly have sex with them, because then that would be adultery. With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice. See that? Susanna cried with a loud voice. Go back to Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, I believe it is. Let's speak about rape. Let's speak about it for damsels in the wilderness. And she cries out, because that woman had a husband. If she cried out and she had a husband, that means she wasn't with the rape. If she was betrothed and she cried out, that means she wasn't with it. But if she was betrothed and she did not cry out, that means she was with the act. So she cried out because she wasn't with it. And the 2 elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at the privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna. So everybody was greatly ashamed, because they never heard of Susanna doing nothing like this. Now she wasn't sinless. The only one that was sinless was Yahushua, but never heard of her doing nothing like this. Okay? And it came to pass the next day when people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the 2 elders came also full of mischievous imagination against Susanna to put her to death, and said before the people, send for Susanna, the daughter of Chokias, Joachim's wife. And so they sent. So the elders was thinking of mischievousness towards her, man, or wicked imagination towards her to put her to death. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman, and beauteous to behold. And these wicked men commanded to cover her face, for she was covered, that they might be filled with her beauty. So they said, uncover your face, because they knew she was very beauteous to behold. So because they wanted to look at her face, man. So that they'd be filled with her beauty, man. They're wicked as hell. Therefore her friends and all that saw her wept. Then the 2 elders stood up in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon their head. And she wept, and she weeping looked up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. And the elders said, as we walked in the garden alone, This woman came in with two maids and shut the garden doors and sent the maids away. They're being false witness now. See, they're speaking in the cause to decline at the many diverse judgment. They're following one another's lies, man. They're putting forth their hand to be with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. See that? They're being false witnesses. Then the young man who was with her, who there was hid, came unto her and lay with her. So he said, he sent the maids away, and some young man came and lay with her. Then we stood in the corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness ran unto them. And when we saw them together, the man we could not find, for he was stronger than we, and opened the door and leaped out, because you know there was old men, there was elders. They're saying this is just a young man, he was stronger than us. That's how he got away. By having taken this woman, we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things do we testify. They're a bunch of liars. Then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people, so they condemned her to death. The assembly believed them. So they're elders, so what they're saying gotta be true. Now they were speaking in the cause to decline at the many diverse judgment, but they didn't know what was going on. See, that's different. You know, they didn't know what was going on. They was intentionally being misled, as opposed to someone who willingly followed a wicked judgment and declined to speak a righteous judgment, which is what those two elders were doing with one another. And then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people, so they condemned her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting power, thou knowest the secrets and knowest all things before they be. Thou knowest that they have borne false witness against me. See that? And behold, I must die. False witness to speak lies. The Most High hates that. Whereas I never did such thing as these men have maliciously invented against me. And the Lord heard her voice. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth whose name was Daniel, who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman. Then all the people turned them towards him and said, What mean thou these words that thou hast spoken? Yeah, he said, I'm clear from the blood of this woman. What do you mean by that, Daniel? Because he knew that the woman didn't do nothing. He knew Susanna was innocent in this particular situation, innocent in this particular circumstance, innocent in regards to this accusation, though we know that no one has never committed sin except Yahweh Shah. So he standing in the midst of them said, Are ye fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth, ye have condemned the daughter of Israel? So they just followed the elders because they were his elders. They just followed those two wicked gods. But that's what scripture tell you what, double honor to the elders that rule well. These guys didn't rule well. They just followed them. They didn't give them right examination. Scripture tell you what, understand first, then rebuke. That's in the Apocrypha, right? Excuse me. All right. Let me keep reading. Scripture tell you what's that scripture says it's in Proverbs. It says he that answereth a matter before he knows of it. Yeah, Proverbs 18:13. He that answereth a matter before you hear it is folly unto them. Proverbs 18:13. But anyway, it says return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste, and the elder said unto him, Come, sit down among us, and show it us, seeing the Most High have given thee the honor of an elder. So they're saying, you know what, sit down amongst us, and he's supposed to be an elder now. That's what they're saying against Daniel, because Daniel was a youth. And it shows you when she prayed to the Most High sent Daniel to basically like to protect her. That was the Most High protecting her through Daniel. So you can do that. You can pray to somebody, and Most High can send somebody unto you, man, to get you out of a certain situation. Then said Daniel unto them, Put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them. So separate the two, separate them. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxing in wickedness, now thy sin which thou committed aforetime are come to light. Right, the sins you committed before, aforetime has now come to light. Meaning all the wickedness that you was doing beforehand, guess what? It's gonna come to light right now. Meaning it's gonna be manifested and it's gonna be exposed. Alright? Alright, let me go down. Let's see something real quick, see if I can find something. Let me see. Let me go down. It says, it should tell me down here. Alright, let me get that. Okay. Verse 33, for thou hast pronounced false judgment and hast condemned the innocent and has let the guilty go free, albeit the Lord saith. Because these two men were guilty. The innocent and righteous shall thou not slay. That's Exodus 23 and 7. It says, keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. She was innocent. She was innocent. She was innocent in this particular circumstance. Okay? So you're not supposed to slay the innocent. Verse 54, now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou companying together? Meaning, under what tree you saw her company together with this young man? Who answered, under a mastic tree. That's what you said, under a mastic tree. And now then you said very well, that has lied against thine own head. For even now the angel of the Most High hath received the sentence of the Most High to cut thee in two. Meaning the angel of the Most High have received the sentence from the Lord to put you to death. So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah. I'm sorry. And said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty hath deceived thee, and lust have perverted thy heart. Meaning beauty hath deceived you. Her beauty deceived you from righteousness. You saw her, you found the woman sexually attractive because the woman was beautiful, but yet you didn't think about the righteousness of the Lord Most High. Her beauty deceived you. Okay? Deceived you from righteousness. And lust, which was really spirit of Satan that's on him, caused him to do that, but Satan did it through her beauty. All right? Or rather, Satan came upon them through seeing her beauty. Satan sprang up in those men to make them to desire them, to make them desire to be with that woman who was a wife to another man. Okay? And lust had perverted their heart, right? Lust perverted their heart. Lust perverted their mind. So beauty deceived them from righteousness, and lust perverted their heart. Lust perverted their mind, perverted their judgment. Okay? They wasn't thinking about the righteousness of the Most High. They was only thinking about carnal pleasure. They wasn't thinking spiritually. They was thinking in a sensual manner. Thus have he dealt with the daughters of Israel. See? Thus have he dealt with the daughters of Israel. That's how the scripture says what? Now thy sins which thou committed but aforetime are come to light. Because he's saying now we know what you're doing now. Because remember, he's telling them he's about to expose them. He's saying now the sins which thou committed aforetime are come to light. Because Daniel already knew through the spirit what it was that they had done. And why was it that their sins that they committed aforetime will come to light? What were they doing aforetime that right now, this particular situation with Susanna, what were they doing aforetime that right now, this particular situation with Susanna, exposed what they was doing aforetime? What were they doing aforetime that now this situation with Susanna has come forth to light? Here it is right here. Verse 57. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they fulfilled company with you. So they was doing this to other women before. They was doing it to other Israelite women, other women of Israel. Okay? Because they was afraid. They was in fear. Damn it. You know, they was doing it to other women that had husbands. You know, they was all scared. If I'm afraid, because if I don't tell them that, you know, if they pull the same situation with other women, saying, oh man, if I don't lay with them, they're gonna lie and say that was with a young man, and I'm gonna put to death. So for fear, they want to lay with those men. So then you're saying, I see what you did. I see what you did with Susanna. Now all of the wickedness you did before, now it's coming to light. Now I see what you was doing to all them other. Now this is proof of what you did to them, all them other Israelite women. And they fulfilled company with you, but the daughter of Judah will not abide by your wickedness. But Susanna wasn't having it. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them companying together? Who answered, under a home tree. And those women had sinned, because those women willingly had sex with those men. You know, and they could have did this to women who didn't have husbands either. You know, they could have been doing this to women that didn't have husbands. You know. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them company together? Who answered, under a home tree. The other one said a mastic tree. Now remember I was looking up earlier. The reason I was looking up because she was hold on. Because remember she was in the garden. So they're saying, oh, what tree did you see had company? One said a mastic tree, one said a home tree. So what tree in the garden did you see? You know? What tree in the garden was this young man at? Who was the young man hiding at? You know? one said a mastic tree, one said a home tree. Then said Daniel unto him, Well, thou hast also lied against thine own head, for the angel of God waited with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that all the assembly cried out with a loud voice and praised the Most High, who saveth them that trust in him. And they arose against the elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. See that? And according to the law of Moses, false witnesses speak of lies. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor. And they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day. Therefore Cherkias and his wife praised the Most High for their daughter Susanna with Jehoiakim her husband, and know the kindred because there was no dishonesty found in her. From that day forth, what she did was a righteous thing. You know, she cried out as she was supposed to do. She didn't really have sex with those men. Because if she would have had sex with them, that would have been a sin unto her. Then she definitely would have been worthy of death because she committed adultery. So she decided to cry out. From that day forth um was Daniel had a great reputation in the sight of the people. So at that, all you brothers learn something. Until next time, shalom.